Life is an unpredictable journey where we often get separated from old friends. We all get excited when we have the opportunity to meet an old friend we have not seen for many years. This is a short documentary of such a meeting between two old friends now living in separate countries. The meeting is enjoyed by sharing the common pleasure of observing the very best nature can offer through a journey into the wilderness of Canada by kayaks. That journey is a wonderful extension of their old days where they shared the pleasure of exploring the fascinating underwater world as scuba diving buddies. Willie Rasmussen, now living in Denmark, was arriving from Denmark to meet Peter Veng-Pedersen, now living in the United States. Our plan was to spend 2 weeks in the Canadian wilderness. We choose Quetico Provincial Park as our destination because of its true wilderness status with no roads and paddling as the only means of transport. Our journey would go through many lakes and bring us to some of the most remote and least visited areas of the park, such as Mackenzie Lake and the Waiwak River, areas where we would not see any people for days. Here we have all the things that we're going to bring on our 2-week trips for two people. Quite a lot, but it will eventually fit in our 2 kayaks. These bags here are actually the food bags. They are heavily compressed and each represent a lunch or a dinner or breakfast. And then we have the clothes and we have the items for the kayak, the paddles and compass and everything. So we'll see how that all fits in once we pack it, and that will certainly reduce the volume a lot. So here we spent the whole day and getting everything together, and as you see, it's pretty much compacted to 2 main packs here. We have our map case, and this is sort of the daily ins and out we need to use. Here's a little portage device from one kayak, and this is a portage with this stick for the other device, and that's about it. And these packs will then slide into the kayak, and we'll have that, a lot of this mounted on the kayak. So this is it, with a lot of work. Our trip from Iowa north to Quetico Park would take us 2 days. We stayed overnight at Peter's mother-in-law, June Noreen's place in Minnesota, where we had a lovely dinner that evening. The journey from Minnesota to Ontario, Canada, where Quetico is located, brought us through the scenic Thunder Bay area of Canada with breathtaking views of the immense Lake Superior. We were reminded of the road dangers of driving in Canada with its substantial moose population, and our thoughts went to our expectations of encountering these large wild animals in our journey ahead. Upbeat and excited, we started off from French Lake, which is one of the few entry points to Quetico. Entry into Quetico from French Lake is via the lovely, easy-to-paddle French River. Pickerel River leads to the large, lovely Pickerel Lake, best known for its many sandy beaches and offering many places to set up camp. Being a true wilderness area, Quetico does not have designated sites for camping. One can camp at any suitable place. After a day's paddling through Pickerel Lake in lovely weather, we found an excellent place to set up camp on the shore of the Back Bay in Pickerel. Next day paddling went through the lovely Deux River that brought us from Twin Lakes into the Sturgeon Lake. Deux River has a few beaver dams that fortunately were quite easy to navigate. After a day's paddling, we set up camp on a lovely island in a remote corner of Russell Lake. Russell Lake is a very beautiful lake with many flat granite shelves sloping gently into the lake and is endowed with a rich birdlife. Our journey brought us past the very scenic Snake Fall. After a very long day of paddling with many portages, we finally arrived at a very scenic small island in the very rustic Kapnipi Lake area south of Ross Island. Rejuvenated from a good night's sleep, we enjoyed our breakfast at a beautiful morning. That morning, a large black bear was seen swimming across just south of our island. Continuing our journey, we stopped for lunch on an island at the very scenic Mackenzie Bay area. After a days of paddling, we arrived at a very scenic no-name lake that via one long portage would lead us into the large Mackenzie Lake the next day.